Hey, Ryan, thanks for joining us today. As a way of getting started, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Really great to be on the show. I'm the CEO and founder of a company called Treehouse. We help companies like Verizon and Nike and Adobe and more actually build diverse talent pipelines into their engineering departments. We use Apprenticeship. We partner with the Boys and Girls Clubs, and it's all free to the students, zero student debt. So it is something we really are passionate about. It's a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
How'd you get interested in this?
Well, the story is interesting and long, so I'll keep it short. I grew up in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I was born in 1977, and just was raised with computers coming into my life at the right time.
Yeah.
And I saw the internet boom beginning to happen, and I chose computer science at Colorado State University, and got my degree. And then I saw a movie called Notting Hill, which is a cheesy rom-com, and it takes place in London. And I thought, I want to go live in London and see what happens. And my mom burst into tears and begged me not to go. So she said, "You're never going to come back." And I said, "Sure, I will. What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
And 12 years later, I came back with a wife and two kids and a company. So
Cool.
it was a fascinating trip. But the reason why I started Treehouse is because that first job, I walked in and said, "I have a computer science degree." And they said, "Great, you're hired. But we want you to do this other thing you've never learned how to do."
Yeah.
And I thought, what? Why did I get a degree? And I thought, this is broken. So I wanted to start a school that would, give you the job, but for a fraction of the cost. So I ended up building an online school. We teach computer science, and we've taught 850,000 people in 9 years. But recently we realized we could truly empower people and change the system if we went directly to companies and said, well, why don't you fund the creation of talent, literally pay for it and hire people from your local neighborhood. So we booted that up, and it's called Talent Path. And it's been just every day as I'm thankful to do this work.
Okay. So it is a B2B company then, right?
Yeah, we are a B2B company now.
Okay. Uh, because there's a lot of like B2C type of things that do that.
Yep,
And
we decided to go straight to the business, which is how I learned sales. So the punchline is I had never sold anything 2 years ago.
yeah.
Never done enterprise sales, never done sales. And I was scared of it. I kind of thought it was for people that were pushy. And it's not me. And I've learned since, you can learn sales. It's actually the most empowering, wonderful job ever if you believe in what you're selling.
Right.
And I love my job. It's great.
And who do you go to talk to at the companies?
So we our exact prospect is a VP of engineering or CTO or CEO.
Yeah.
And we just walk in and say, "Hey, do you want to hit your hiring plan? Do you want to win the talent war? Do you also want to build a diverse team?" And they go, "Yes, yes, yes." And we say, "Great, plug in this program, uses apprenticeship, and out come amazing talent." And they go, "Okay." And now it takes longer than that, the sales cycle, but that's roughly the idea.
And how do they get the students coming in?
So we do all that. So we go to their city. For instance, Verizon, New Jersey. We go to the local community. Places like the Boys and Girls Clubs, the Economic Development Council, Dress for Success, and we say, "Hey, Verizon wants to invest in you. They believe in you. There's a guaranteed paid apprenticeship at the end of this."
Okay.
And it's free to you. You just have to put in a lot of hard work and learn for about 7 months online, and then you get on board as an apprentice. And it's awesome. It's the future of the talent pipeline, in America. And it's zero student debt. It's employer funded. There's a real job at the end. It's just awesome.
And aren't you just shocked when you hear about people say like Amazon's warehouse, it's like the job of last resort? And I'm like, no, it's like,
Right.
that's twice minimum wage.
Yeah.
And I talk to entrepreneurs all the time, and they all need, people who do online ads,
Yeah.
who do graphics, who do web development, who do software development,
Right. And you don't need college degrees for this stuff. They're highly technical trade skills, right? So
yeah. And I have almost an identical background to you. I kind of went to school at night.
Mm.
Taught myself programming.
Nice.
And there wasn't a single thing about computers I learned in college.
Right.
Because
What was that?
I was in, and even wasn't the state of the art, but it was still a good 10 years ahead of what they're teaching in college.
Yep.
And, I've got a lot of friends whose kids are in college now, and yeah, they're learning stuff, but during their summer internship, it's still good 2 or 3 years ahead of where the college stuff
Of course.
is at.
Yeah. So why not just cut out the middle person, right?
Yeah.
Just go straight from high school into an apprenticeship, get paid to learn, and have zero student debt. It just makes way more sense.
Yeah. And I think too many parents make the classic mistake of not directing their kid, even if they have the money and the brain power and the time to go to a great school. They come out with anthropology or
some state school that no one cares. I mean, if you go to Colorado State where I went, no one cares. You either have to go to top tier, Stanford, Harvard, MIT, Carnegie Mellon, or nothing. I mean, it doesn't, if you walk in with a degree from ASU, no one cares, right? It just doesn't matter.
Yeah. And I'm sure on the B2B side, the demand is infinite.
Yes. Oh my gosh. There's
no VP of engineering saying, I don't need another A player.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I sat down with the guy yesterday. He's like, I cannot find talent. I have 7 open positions. Google, Amazon, Facebook, Airbnb, they keep taking, they literally, he said he has people turn down their job offers because they say, well, gosh, Facebook just offered me $250,000. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's like, I cannot find talent. I'm like, guess what? There's actually people in this neighborhood that could work for you.
Yeah.
They just don't know it yet. Invest in them. And then they'll stay longer. They'll be more grateful. They'll be higher, outputting. They'll be diverse. Like, it's the America that we all dreamed about, like where you could actually work hard and get a good job.
And that's it. And too many people are talking about, become a plumber or a carpenter or a mason. And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's
now, you can do that. Great. But also
stand outside in the sun and work in the cold. And if that's your bag, that's fine.
Right.
But there seems to be this myth. It's either this or McDonald's or Starbucks.
Right. Nope. There's a hidden third choice and it's actually way better.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it. Because I talk mostly on to people who are in sales, and sales is not for everybody.
Yep.
Right. They don't like the rejection, or they don't want to deal with people. And I loved engineering, dealing with technology all day, and the idea that you could just close your door and not talk to a single person.
Sometimes it sounds great, doesn't it?
Yeah, you turn the phone off and just zone in.
Yep.
And I think people have kind of overlooked this, and it is kind of the America that we grew up with. And that people say, oh, the disappearing middle class. It's like, no, it's just hidden a little bit. You just have to get off the couch and go find it.
Yep. And the beautiful thing is actually it's employer funded. So we're seeing the future of education, right now. It's just not evenly distributed. And it's companies saying, we have a job, we're going to create the talent. Or like Amazon's doing, we already have people that work here, let's upskill them.
Yeah.
Let's retain them. Let's invest in them. I read this study in the Harvard Business Review where in the 70s, up to 90% of jobs came from current employees.
Yeah.
Now it's like 30%, right? So we're going around poaching other people's employees. I mean, we do this in sales, and what we found is actually you can create, SDRs from your local neighborhood. Then you turn them into sales people, and then you turn them into sales managers, and then you turn them into VP of sales. Like, you don't need to go poach talent all the time.
That's it. And so much of it is a mindset, because I'll be out to dinner talking to a waiter or a bartender. And if they feel like they're stuck, they're living off of tips. And I go, well, you can make, 80 to 150 your first year.
Right.
Nice air conditioned office.
Right. Talking to people selling something you believe in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not having to stand up and getting your hands wet all the time and, trying to fight for tips.
Yep. Amen.
What's the hardest part of your business?
The hardest part is that we're so cutting edge that, most people still believe the college pipeline is the way to hire talent. And it's almost like a religion.
It is.
It's almost like it's ethically right. They believe it's right to hire, college grads. It's good for us to go to college. And I'm kind of saying, great, yeah, go to college if you can afford it, if you don't have student debt. But what about everybody that can't do that or is going to massive student debt? Is this actually better? And wait a minute, if you hire, expensive, college grads from the best schools, don't you think that other companies with more money are just going to come in and poach them? Like, why are they going to stay here?
Yeah.
And so I think people are finally waking up and going, wait a second. So wait, I could invest in people that literally live in my neighborhood. They'll teach them a skill, onboard them, train them. It's free to them. And then they'll stay longer. They'll be better employees. And just the lights are going off in people's minds. And I think we're about to see a revolution in America. That's actually the America, like I said, we all dreamed of, where it turns out you could go from high school into a great job and work hard and make money for your family. So,
and how about the mindset on the people coming in who think like, it's so hard, I'm not a propeller head. I never really did good with math.
Yep. Yeah. It's a fascinating question. So we basically are telling people constantly, actually, technology and computer science and programming and marketing, actually, it's not much math at all. It's really creative thinking. And they're like, really? I was never good at math. And we say, can you add? Can you subtract? And they go, sure. Can you divide? Yep. And we're like, that's basically the most math you're going to do. And so it's kind of retraining people that you can do this. You do belong.
Yeah.
Do have what it takes. It's empowering. It's great. And we're seeing, this is wild. So our apprentices, this is hard to imagine, but actually they're starting out with a median salary of $21K before the program. Really, really low.
Yeah.
And they're getting placed at $62K, in 9 months with no student debt, a 300% increase in salary.
Yeah.
Right. And then it gets even better. 1 out of 3 had healthcare. Now 100% do. So it's just a win-win-win for everybody.
And I think it's probably the second best kept secret next to B2B sales.
Yep.
Because I try and, spread the word on LinkedIn and people just fight me all the time. But, the people that I know within my little circle, they're not, the top intellectuals.
No, just hardworking, creative people.
Yeah. They focused and they learned a skill and they stuck with it and they had a little bit of grit and determination, but they're also not the grinders either.
Yep.
They're at the beach Friday at 3.
Yep.
But the upside and the potential there is there. And I think it's people just are unaware of it. They think, oh, I either have to put the wheel on the car or I have to own the car company.
Yep. No, there's a great middle option.
Yeah.
Amen.
And that's it. And I think the word about the real middle class of the U.S. has to get out there.
Yep.
Because nobody's really marketing it.
No, I know it's really wild. But the neat thing about this is no matter what side of the aisle you are on politically, everybody believes in jobs. Everybody believes in the American dream. And, we're seeing, this stratification between, the 1% and everybody else. But actually this, essentially, third industrial revolution that we're seeing where everything is moving to information work, digital. Actually, it's a extremely empowering thing because we're actually seeing rural America. We're seeing companies invest in hiring pods of people that actually work from home.
Yeah.
And so that income and economic development is flowing into rural America. And, I believe there's all sorts of people that have been locked out of the American dream, that includes white folks in rural America, right? That are not getting access to this wealth and technology. So it's really an empowering message for everybody, no matter what you look like, where you come from. There is the ability to make wealth for your family if you learn this skill and get into tech and get into an apprenticeship,
That's it, because I don't think you have to live in Silicon Valley.
No, definitely not.
Because everybody has access to high-speed internet right now. To get a Chromebook is $200. You can start on YouTube, and you can learn enough to probably qualify to get into one of your programs.
Yep.
And I don't think it's 80 hours a week either.
No. Yeah, you could do it much less. We do actually have a problem in America with access to broadband. There are large swaths of America that don't have it still. But, like we've been talking to the governor in Oregon about that, and there's a lot of work being done on that. But I believe, it will get better and better. So.
Well, what are you having a hard time finding? Is it salespeople? Is it engineers? Is it marketing?
No, because we use Apprenticeship. so the beauty is, gosh, we literally, look at our local neighborhood and say, do you want to start as an apprentice? And we have 2 sales SDRs right now, and they are unbelievable. Yeah. 2 amazing women who, came in, knew nothing about sales, and we trained them, here's how to, use outreach. Here's how to commit to your daily inputs. Here's how to use tools like Mixmax, and then we have discipline. We actually have values. So every day we stand up as a revenue team, and we go around and we say, here's what I committed to yesterday. Was I red, green, or yellow? And it's almost always be 100% in outreach, which is a sales enablement tool for anyone listening that doesn't know.
Yeah.
And I was, so we go around and do that. And then we say, here's what I'm going to commit to today. So we have this practice of discipline where we commit to inputs that will equal outputs, right? And then we celebrate a little bit. We'll say, hey, this good thing happened. And then we say, I want to give you props, based on behavior that you're showing that maps to a value we have. And one of the values we have is know your inputs and commit daily, right? And one of them is learning fast is better than being right. And I literally gave props to one of our SDRs today, because she said, oh my gosh, I found that using this new tactic in an email I got, I booked a meeting in 2 days. And I was like, yep, learning fast is better than being right. You happen to be right in this one, but it's better to learn fast than be right.
And what's the sales cycle look like? Say you're going after a decent sized company, you're going after the VP of sale, VP of engineering.
Yep. What is it? Yeah, it's interesting. So we basically, it's almost all outbound account based. That's kind of how we roll. And we find, accounts that are the right size. They have to have enough engineers to work for us, but to install apprenticeship program. And then we basically load them into outreach, and we run a sequence on them, and we've learned, like everybody, that, people just want, they want more joy in their life. And so if we reach out to them and give them genuine, feedback on stuff they're working on, like, I saw you did this project. It was amazing. Yeah. And when I'm not asking anything right away, I just want to tell you, I appreciate your work. It's genuine. And we get a lot of responses, just thanks, appreciate it. And then, a couple steps later, we'll say, hey, we have an ask, here's what we're doing. Interested in talking about it. And then we don't quit. That's another one of our values, and run at least a 17-step outreach sequence on that. Because, most salespeople quit after 4 steps or something.
Well, I would think in your market, the visibility into who they're hiring, I'm sure they want to talk about that, right? Because that's a pain point.
Yep. So tell us, what are your hiring needs? Yep.
We can't help you with the AI scientist, but we can help you over here. Right?
Yep, exactly. So, and it's hard some days, it's not like everyone listening. There's no magic bullet. There's not some secret. It's basically, we know who our prospects are. We target them with kindness and consistency and discipline. We don't quit, and we put enough in, and something comes out the bottom.
And why didn't you go after either the pure B2C approach?
We did. So we started there. So what's interesting is, when I started the company 9 years ago, it was a pure B2C company. We just offered learn to code online for $25 a month.
Yeah.
And that's how we've taught 850,000 people. But then we learned, okay, we actually need more. People need projects. They need more structure. They need feedback. So we launched our tech degree, which is a more structured 10 project curriculum that is designed to literally take you from 0 to job ready. Takes probably 6-7 months, 2 hours a day from home. That's great. that started working better. And then what we realized is, oh, wait a minute, businesses will literally pay us to create talent for them. And they have a lot more money than consumers. We can literally change lives at zero cost to the students.
Yeah.
It's just a better model. And so we pivoted. We still have a wonderful tech degree product for consumers, and we have thousands of students using it.
Yeah.
And we'll continue to do that. And that will eventually feed the talent pipeline into the businesses. So it's kind of actually a beautiful cycle, but we are more focused on B2B than B2C now.
Yeah. It's probably more rewarding too.
Oh gosh. I mean, the listeners can't see it, but these pictures on my wall that I know you can see are pictures of our apprentices. And, the stories they tell will make you cry. I mean, literally, one of our apprentices said, "You don't understand how much this means to me, but I was able to sign up for healthcare today so my son can go to the doctor."
Yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing.
And it's such a better solution than relying on somebody else giving it to you.
Right. Yeah.
It's not going to work long term.
No. And then, and then she said, and I was able to contribute to my 401k for the first time. That means I can build wealth for my kids. Like, this is the America we dreamed of, right? It's wonderful.
That's it. And a year or two later, the first time they get a headhunter's call where they're in demand.
Yep.
Instead of begging for an opportunity.
Exactly. But what's interesting is they'll probably say, I kind of want to stay here because they believe in me.
Yeah.
They invested in me,
And that does bring up a level of loyalty that you're not going to get from somebody coming out of college.
Nope. I'm literally one of those people. I got a computer science degree, let's just go to the highest bidder, and you end up becoming this paid assassin with no loyalty, and it sucks. And I'm not saying we're bad. Those type of people are bad. It's just, that's not a sustainable, good, healthy talent pipeline.
And what's the percentage of the people going in as students making it through the whole process?
So it's interesting. We're experimenting with the model with Verizon where they are literally paying the students to learn.
So from day one.
Yeah. So they actually quit their day job and then they go into Verizon full-time, 40 hours a week, and get paid to learn for 3 months.
Yeah.
And it's actually so successful that we're not having enough attrition. We had planned for more. So it's wildly successful. And then this is even more encouraging. 93% of people are converting from that apprenticeship to salaried full-time employment.
Yeah.
So it's really working.
Cool. And what are you seeing as the highest demand on the technology side?
It's a lot of JavaScript. Everyone's moving to full stack JavaScript. So there's a lot of that. But we plan on expanding to other technologies. We even want to expand to other job roles. Yeah. Sales, marketing, all these other kind of fun ones. So we'll get there.
Yeah, cool. Hey, and this has been a great conversation. Where do people go to learn about this company? And
thanks for asking. The best thing to do is just Google Treehouse and Talent Path. Talent Path is our apprenticeship program. If you Google Ryan Carson, I'm everywhere. So you'll find me, but Treehouse Talent Path, just Google that and you will find us.
Cool.